Put your hands together for Esau and Eric! I wish I was more worried about this COVID, but I'm not. Like, I'm gonna wipe it off with a Clorox wipe for your sake, but I'm gonna be all right. What I really like about this COVID is we get to understand exactly how much you love one another. Like, you love your mother, but do you quarantine for 14 days love your mother? Who's seen their parents in here? Round of applause. During the COVID. Not too many of you motherfuckers. Like, Mom, I Zoom love you. But I don't want to spend 14 days in a room by myself just to spend 14 days watching you point out my faults. Bitch. You can say that she's not here. So here's how this works is conceptually. We haven't done this in months, and we've never actually practiced it because it's much more fun when we don't plan it. But I, if you cannot tell, am an analytical, heartless prick. So I represent the left brain for everyone here that thinks analytically, logically. But Esau here is going to play the saxophone. He represents pure emotion. He represents your right brain. So basically, everyone here that gets offended by this shit that I say, he will be your physical representation. And if you could pick an old Luke Cage, like Luke Cage 2099, for all you comic book fans out there, this would be that. Isn't that fascinating? We bumped into each other a couple years ago, and he literally just walked in one night and was like, "Hey, I'm trying to blow," which is saxophone language for play music, but it's comedy night. And I was like, "Why don't you just come up and do it with me?" And then this happened, and that's what we're doing right now. So he's going to play indiscriminately whenever he wants to, because realistically, how could I stop him? And then we're just going to see how this plays out. It usually plays out pretty well. It actually gets better every time we do it. What I don't like right now in our culture is how we like to divide one another. Like, we love separating people into groups. That's our thing. Are you black? Are you white? Are you left? Are you right? Are you right? Are you wrong? Are you weak? Are you strong? It's all about separation. How do we make everyone different? And I try to make a concerted effort to understand why everyone in this room is the same. So, for example, whoever you voted for in 2016 and whoever you're going to vote for in 2020, that person helped kill Jeffrey Epstein. We can build on that. It's a little depressing that apparently pedophiles are more bipartisan than the average American voter. And that's not even the sad part. The sad part's going to be when they cast Kevin Spacey to play Jeffrey Epstein in the biopic. He's going to go method for that role. Do what you love, you never work a day in your life. No, it's fascinating though in our culture right now. Like, one word, you could be a good person your entire life. One wrong word on social media and you're the Antichrist, and no one wants to fact check anything. So I want to understand how everyone in this room as individuals think, because believe it or not, however much you've been trained for tribe mentality, you're all individuals. So I'm going to cross every one of the hot button issues right now, just so you guys know what groups you feel like you're in. You don't even have to be talented when you have this in the background. It's the fun part. Like, all I need is his timing, and I could say anything I wanted. It's disturbing. Fox News needs Esau. That could almost play over. You could have like Glenn Beck saying all his fucking rhetoric and bam, 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 bam. It's like, what? I recently found out that Rubik's Cubes are racist. What's the objective of the Rubik's Cube? Colors are all mixed up. What are you supposed to do? Put them back where they belong. Not very progressive, Rubik's Cubes. Not very progressive at all. I think it's hysterically hypocritical when a white supremacist walks into a tanning salon. You think they'd be outside picketing. I feel bad for white supremacists that drink coffee, because they must drink the most horribly rancid piss water coffee. Because if you were a white supremacist, you'd be totally opposed to adding anything white, and you'd be really pissed if anything black was good. I was just playing the rest of it in my head like you were. I was like, there's a couple more bars of that you are skipping, sir, and we are going to play those together. If I was a homosexual man, my... It's a bigger laugh than I was going to get. I made peace with that. Like, this is us selling out, basically. Like, in a noble way, like, I just have to admit that my personality is not conducive enough with the mass of American culture that we need this to work. Because no one's going to put up with me. If I was a homosexual man, my favorite word would be heinous. Because it would be an amalgamation, a combination, a fusion of two of my favorite words. Hey! And anus. Heinous. If anyone actually believed that gender was non-binary, that it was a societal construct and had no scientific backing whatsoever, wouldn't the LGBTQ community just call themselves community? Logic hurts. I feel bad for people with cerebral palsy that have to walk through gang neighborhoods. You know, because that's the Crip gang sign, too. I Googled it for authenticity. It's actually not true. I had a Crip gang member in Baltimore teach me, but I don't like to scare white people. That's funny because it's true. I'm not very religious. My family's very religious. And you make special concessions for your family. So this year for Lent, I gave up common sense. That way I could be a Christian for 40 days. And if you didn't like that joke, you're going to hate the next one. Do you think Christ really got crucified? Or just got so drunk he forgot his safe word? Every once in a while we have to keep stuff. You definitely got to keep that one. There's a couple things we just kind of do, and it's like, oh yeah, you got to keep doing that because that's funny. It's fascinating, though, in American culture, like, we don't know where the lines are anymore. We've driven the lines so fucking hard tribalistically that you can't be on the right team. It's so fascinating to me. And it's not just, like, civilians. Comics, same thing. What can you joke about? What can't you joke about? And I'm of the belief that you can joke about absolutely fucking anything. Every topic is available. Your targets have to be chosen intelligently. So every topic's okay, but your target is what's in question. So the more sensitive a topic a comic's attempting to tackle, the more the onus of responsibility is on said comic to make sure they're punching in the correct direction. So you can joke about whatever the fuck you want, but you got to make sure your heart's in the right place while you do it. So if a joke doesn't go well, like some of the ones I told tonight, One out of two things has happened in my opinion. Either A, the comic didn't do a good job telling the joke, or B, the audience was too stupid to understand it. And 9 out of 10 times, I blame the comics. I think it's our fault. I think we're under this misconception that just because we've been funny, we've done our job. And I would vehemently disagree. I think if you've been funny, all you've done essentially is dig the diamond out of a mine. And that's valuable, right? But it takes extra effort to perfectly polish a premise and make it precious. So what I decided, extra effort to perfectly polish a premise and make it precious. I practice way more times in the mirror than you'll ever know. So what I decided I was going to do is take a joke that we all heard as kids, polish it up just a little bit, change one word, and make it less racist. No one heard that. So when I was a kid, and I'm in like my mid-30s, and I'm from Baltimore, and I was in middle school, when you had to take a shit, the kids would say, I'm going to go drop the kids off at the pool. Right? We heard that. Ah, it's funny. But racist. It is. But funny. It can be both. But you polish that joke up just a little bit. You polish it. You change one word. Say, I'm going to go drop my kids off at the pool. Now all of a sudden I'm open to having interracial children. Pretty fucking progressive. Old joke was black kids are shit. New joke is my black kids are the shit. And see, with a little bit of polish, we've turned a crappy joke about poop and turned it into a civil rights movement. This takes no effort. It took me effort to write it, but for us to do this, no effort whatsoever. Do you guys want me to do one more joke theory, or do you guys want to get the fuck out of here? Are you tired and hot? I'm cool with either one. I'm cool. I'm cool. I just want to be in polite because we trapped you down here in some heat. It's definitely cooled down, thank Christ. But the pregnant lady already had to tap out. I respect that. All right. I don't like. Let me get one of these beers, brother. I already pre-beered us because I knew this was going to happen. Because I usually got the big 24s and the somebody drank all my Heineken. I don't know who it was. But somebody was like, hey, those could be ours. I'm going to let it go for right now. Because we're taping. Oh, man. I love it, or I don't like it. I find it depressing, actually. Actually, it's beautiful for me because it leaves a nice window for myself. Everyone in our society, at least on my Facebook algorithm, loves identifying problems. We fucking love that shit. Here's the problem. This is who's at fault. What I don't see on Facebook, or at least my algorithm isn't showing me, is solutions. I haven't seen fucking any of those. Goatloads of problems. No fucking solutions. So I decided I would offer a solution to an issue that, when I've read statistically, we're like 90% on the same page. And that issue is gun control. Right? Most of us are kind of... And I figured out the problem with gun control, and I figured out how to fix it. All we got to do is stop calling it gun control. If the second word in the sentence is how we're going to control the guns, what the fuck else are you going to argue about? Imagine if we took that same argument and called it gun safety. How would that fight even go? Like, well, I want to make guns safer. Yeah, but I want 1,000 guns. Awesome. Would you like them all to be safer? Yeah. And I know you can take one look at me and make an educated guess on what side of the gun debate that you think that I reside on. But I'm not exactly pro-gun. I just can't consider myself to be anti-object, and yet I am not ready to blame objects for what people do with them. So, for example, if someone jumps off a bridge, I don't blame the bridge. If someone sets a house on fire, I'm not mad at matches. But if we as society want to start blaming objects for what people do with them, I'm completely okay with that. But I don't think we should start with guns. I think we should start with spoons. Obesity kills way more people than guns every year. Is a fucking epidemic. We gotta keep these spoons out of these fat people's hands to save them. All you can eat buffets are like the assault rifles of obesity. And if we just had common sense plate regulation, right? Because everyone can agree that no one needs unlimited plates, right? We could save lives. And I know for some of you this is hard to swallow, because fat shaming is wrong. But sometimes it's fat shaming. Sometimes it's a shame you're so fat. There's got to be a line, kids. There's got to be a size of belt we're just not willing to sell. But look, brother, if you're going to be that big, you better be clever enough to tie two of them together. I think I might have forgotten the closer to that joke. It's been like fucking 4 months, and I can't remember. It's a perfect closer to that joke. I might have forgotten it. Give me a second. There we go. Yeah, this part of the tape's going to be scrapped because I got nothing. What the fuck? How did I finish this joke? It was so good when I finished it all tied together. That's what it was. There we go. Now I got it. And if you didn't like that joke, and you didn't agree with the logic and the philosophy behind it, I completely understand. But then don't be mad at me. Be mad at this microphone. That's how you finish that shit.